seat. Have a seat right over there. I need you to have a seat. That's right, right over there. How nice is it to be back in a group? And especially here for the gathering of the Juggalos and Juggalettes. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. So I first met the boys a little more than a year ago. One of my projects is a YouTube channel called Have a Seat with Hansen. If you haven't seen it, check it out. We do some predator stuff. We do some other investigative stuff. We've done pandemic stuff. And one of the stories we did involved an investigation of a guy who's in the music business, who's a true predator, a guy by the name of Donnie Vanity. So after all our reporting, ICP took a public stance against him and this sort of behavior in the music business. And I thought, wow, we need to get these guys on the show. And they graciously appeared. They did a marvelous interview seen by hundreds of thousands of people. And they asked one favor in return. Would I do a track for one of their albums? Yes. And would I be here? Yes. During the background research that I feel horrible I didn't know this, but that song, To Catch a Predator, which is absolute genius. And so I played it before and at the end of the show, and I still listen to it frequently. That's when I get fired up to do the next show. And anyway, we got to be pals, and we have a place in New York City for work, as I have for many years, and we have a home in suburban Detroit, so we've been out to the compound in the studio, and we've got to be good pals, so I appreciate being out here. But, you know, I don't know how many of you have kids, right, in that zone, right, in the predator danger zone. Think about this for a minute. The first predator investigation we did was 17 years ago. 17 years ago. We had decoys. Merely had decoys in chat rooms on AOL and Yahoo, right? That was it. Well, today, as you know, there's been an explosion of social media platforms upon which predators can approach kids online. And during the pandemic, more kids have been online for longer periods of time than ever before. The danger is more now at a higher level than ever before in the history of the internet. So it's important for all of us, as parents, as uncles, as aunts, and all of you, to be extremely cautious online. I mean, think about this. We did another predator investigation just a few months ago in Michigan, actually. And we caught a Michigan State Corrections officer, a prison guard, trying to hook up with a 14-year-old girl. We caught a guy who had done, we had caught a guy who did work inside the governor's mansion, a police officer from overseas. So it continues today. I thought when we did the first investigation that we do it once or twice as a segment on Dateline, and that, you know, after the third one, nobody would show up. Well, now 400 plus guys later, it's never ending, right? And so one of the reasons we started, what's that? Well, they do that. They absolutely do that, and that's one of the reasons why I started the podcast, Predators Uncaught, which is out now on all platforms. Because we go back and we look at these cases, and it's mind-boggling to me to find out, one, where these guys are, and two, what they've been up to since then. Very few of them go straight, that's for sure, I can tell you this. People ask me all the time, who are these guys, what do they have in common? And I can tell you that, for the most part, they don't stand out of a crowd. It could be the guy you're next to at the grocery store, the liquor store, the dry cleaners on a Saturday morning. We found doctors. We found teachers. We found cops. And I think they break down into 3 different categories. One is the hardcore heavy hitter, the guy who would be doing this with or without the internet. The younger group who's socially awkward, who goes after